This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by Don Charles over Zoom. Don, firstly, Happy New Year. I hope you had a good one and you had a good Christmas. Did you have much going on?
Yeah, like everybody else, it was the time of rest. After you work all year round, it's time to rest, reflect, recoup, and yeah, it was good. It was good.
You mentioned, reflect on, last year's events. How would you look back on 2021 now you've got a bit of time to do so, Don?
Well, basically, one has to be grateful in this day and age because of the climate, with all the stuff going on with the COVID. Obviously, we all know people, friends, family, distance or close, who have lost their lives during this horrendous pandemic period that we're going through the whole world. So, yeah, like I said, when you reflect and evaluate, and you have to start to appreciate being alive. And not only are we alive, we're also able to operate in terms of the profession of what we do for a living. We're one of the few privileged where we're doing what we love doing during these not so good times.
100%, Don, we are indeed. From a boxing perspective, how would you look back on your year?
Basically, again, as you get older, which, as you know, it was actually my 60th birthday 3 weeks ago. The older one gets, you start to appreciate things, no matter even any disappointments in life. You look at them and your understanding is my understanding of various things that don't go my way. I take a different view to it now than when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? So honestly, I'm in a period of my life where I'm at peace with myself. Yeah. Positive things happen, you appreciate them more. When things bad happen, you look at them and you accept and you move on.
With that in mind, Don, there was one sour note to end last year on your son, George, falling short in his bout with Kamil Sokolowski, losing on points. I just wanted to go get a reflection on you from that fight. What went wrong for George?
Well, sometimes matters are out of one's hands. Again, not because he's my son. I've been there before where I've been on the end of bad results with fighters that I've trained. I will gladly invite anybody who understands boxing, sit them down and score the fight, say, how did you score it for Sokolowski to win the fight? The worst result we could have been given, in my opinion, was a draw from where I was sitting in the corner watching that fight. I've since watched it again a couple of times and I still keep arriving at the same decision. Sokolowski did not win the fight, in my opinion. We didn't perform to our ability. No, we didn't. Far from it, yeah? I won't go into reasons. No, I hate making excuses. In history will always be written, if you look in the record books, that we lost to Sokolowski. Like I said, it was not the result we wanted. We actually asked for the fight. We asked for that fight. And it's not the result we wanted. It's we lost. That's all there is to it. You have to lick your wounds, look at yourself, regroup, and guess what? Come again.
Kamil Sokolowski, somebody who he's got a number of losses on his record, which you could comfortably say should have been victories for himself. And he's a very difficult test for any heavyweight, especially at the beginning of their career. Do you regret choosing him as an opponent in what was only George's fifth fight?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you think you're a talent, which George thinks is a talent, I think is a talent, and hence why we opted to fight. No regrets whatsoever. Like I said, I won't go into details. I don't believe we lost the fight. Worst case, in my opinion, a draw for Sokolowski's effort. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I won't go into details. It's not the performance I, as a trainer, wanted from George. It's not the performance him as a fighter wanted to. You have to, again, credit Sotlowski for that. He played a part in not allowing us to do what we wanted to do. But nevertheless, I thought we edged the fight. I scored the fight 5 rounds to 3, 5 to us, 3 rounds. Even the rounds that Sotlowski won, it's debatable in the sense that you don't win a round by, unless you knock the person out. He landed a couple of power punches during the latter rounds. Round 6, 7, 8, he landed significant, powerful shots, like single shots. They're not like cumulative. And all through the fight, he was scoring with the body jab. Okay, to, like I said, you don't hit one body jab and win the round. So I'd like to know. I'll give you an example. The referee, according to the referee's scores, he only awarded George 1 round out of 8, according to the referee's score. So that tells you what fight was the referee watching or judging. Like I said, I'm not here to blame the referee. I blame us. I blame myself. I blame my son. We allowed another human being to judge us. Yeah. Okay. This is what happens in life when people are empowered. They're in a position of power. Sometimes they may misuse that power. We allowed them to judge us. And I can assure you that will not happen in the future. Yeah, only God can judge us.
Don, so with that in mind, you know, it's about bouncing back now, as you said earlier on. So what will be the plan for George? Will you look towards trying to make a rematch with Camille?
That's not out of the question. That's not out of the question. I'm not at liberty to say at the moment because, again, we go back to the drawing board and we know what we did wrong, all right? We know what we did wrong and it's up to us to put it right. And we will speak to the promoter, manager, Francis Warren. We've got a meeting pending and we'll see what's next and take it from there. It's not the end of the world. Nobody's died here. There's far worse things going on in the world than losing a boxing match. And in the fashion we lost, you know, my son is not a great yet. He intends to be. We're not talking about a guy here who's already gone on with his career and achieved lots and then lost. And, you know, I didn't realize how popular he was because so many people have been calling me up. So many people been, you know, it's almost like somebody has died. I said, yo, we lost a boxing match. In fact, we got a bad decision on a boxing match. Yeah, it's not end of the world. It's beginning of his career. Yes, it shouldn't, there's no right time to die. It shouldn't happen. Nobody expects you to lose in the beginning on your 5th professional fight, but it happens. Some people loses on their debut, yeah, doesn't stop them. David Haye lost on his 9th professional fight. It didn't stop him becoming an undisputed cruiserweight world champion and went on to become a heavyweight world champion. It happened, he lost in his 9th or 10th professional fight against Carl Thompson. You know, I could go through the history of boxing, people who have, it's not, there's this taboo over losing. Nobody wants to lose. We certainly didn't want to lose, yeah, or get a bad decision. We got a bad decision. I'll gladly see any boxing expert, as long as they're judging it without any premeditated mindset. You know how the society we live in today, people, whatever reason, they don't want to see people succeed. But like I said, we allowed ourselves to be in that vulnerable position where we're being judged.
Don, away from George, I just wanted to get kind of an update from yourself on Jordan Thompson because I saw him, you know, he had a couple of fights at the end of last year and you wasn't in his corner. I haven't spoken to you to see if anything had gone on there, if maybe you'd parted ways. Can you just explain that situation?
Right. I'm very, very transparent. I'm still going to be transparent, but I'm not at liberty to comment on that particular subject.
Okay, that's fine, Don. Moving forwards once again, then just a few fights I want to get your thoughts on. Tyson Fury looks like he'll be set to make his ring return in March, but people are hoping he'll be over in the UK. Dillian Whyte is one of those names we mentioned. We saw the WBC approve an 80-20 purse split if that does go to purse bids on the 11th. Just get your thoughts firstly. If Tyson and Dillian faced off, what's your take?
Well, you know, Tyson Fury is the guy. He's got the crown. Yeah, there's unquestionably the best heavyweight on the planet as we speak, and that's my opinion. Is my opinion. It's a boxing fight. It's a heavyweight fight. If he was to meet Dylan, anything can happen in a boxing match, especially in the heavyweight division. But if you're asking me who do I put of course I put my money on Tyson Fury for a lot of factors. Yeah. Does Dylan deserve his chance? Hell yeah. Yeah. That kid's been waiting and waiting and waiting. I once trained a fighter, actually. I'll come back to it. I once trained a fighter, a Nigerian fighter. You won't remember him, or you may do. His name is Jose Olusegun. He was a light welterweight. He was former British and Commonwealth champion, African champion. He was here in England, and he was 30-0, unbeaten. Nobody wanted to fight him in England, right? The WBC coincidentally kept him waiting. He was #1 mandatory challenger for the title. They kept him waiting for 5 years. 5 years. In the end, guess what? Yeah, he had to take fights on that. His first loss was against a guy called Lucas Matisse. Yeah, nobody wanted to fight Lucas Matisse. Jose was forced. He had no choice but to take that fight in America against Louis DeBella, became his promoter when he left England to chase for trying to get that mandatory to get his fight. He lost his first losses against Lucas Matisse. So what I'm trying to say, in comparison to, it's not unusual. I have personally witnessed and been involved with a fighter who they kept him waiting. And coincidentally, it's a WBC again, kept him waiting for 5 whole years. And guess what? He never ever got his shot. All right. And then he obviously is now long retired now. Yeah. So these things do happen in boxing. Unfortunately for Dylan Whyte, for whatever reason, I don't know. We don't know all the ins and outs. So I'm not really, again, at liberty to comment. I can only, like yourself, we're observers. We read what we read. Does he deserve his chance? Yes, he does. When the fight eventually materializes, if it does, then yeah, I'll have to sway towards Fury for a lot of factors. Size is a big factor. Yeah, confidence, not beaten, don't know how to lose. Okay, and the fashion is dealt with Wilder. You have to favor him in a fight against anybody, any heavyweight right now.
Away from that, get your thoughts on the Joshua Usyk rematch. We're waiting for a date to be announced. Heading into this, we've seen AJ, he's been stateside talking to a few different trainers, some reports coming out he might well have split with Rob McCracken now. Firstly, do you think at this stage of a career it's the right move for AJ to be looking at new coaches ahead of a rematch?
In life, it's a question of, like I said earlier on in the beginning of this conversation, you evaluate things, you look at things and examine, and then whatever you feel that's good for you, then you do that. If he opts to go change his team, that's entirely up to him. If he feels that's what he needs to move on, to get trying to add to what he already has, then again, that's entirely up to him. He's looking at a few coaches, and he's got every right to do so. What him and Robert have achieved, I mean, it's unthinkable. If you rewind the clock from when that young man won the Olympic gold, and you said to him, right, in 10 years' time, it's exactly 10 years, isn't it? 2012 to 2022, 10 years, yeah. This year will be the 10th year since he won the Olympic gold. If you turn around after he won the Olympic gold and said, in 10 years' time, you're going to become the most recognized boxer on the planet worldwide. You're going to make X amount of money, which is made. But there are conditions. Those conditions are, you're going to lose to Andy Ruiz. You will regain the title, but you're going to lose to Andy Ruiz. And then you're going to also lose to a guy called Alexander Usyk. Are you willing to take that? Or are you willing to take that? Or you're going to say no, because I don't want those losses. So this is how life goes. Then again, if that kid never ever boxes again, or boxes and loses again, yeah, what he's achieved, right? And what he's turned his life and his family's life into, and the effect it's had on boxing worldwide. And all the children who are boxing in my gym, all the children are boxing nationwide, worldwide. It's all because of Anthony Joshua, the legacy. Yeah. So I hope he goes and gets his victory. I think he's more than capable of avenging that loss, right? You know, like I said, I look at things a lot different to what I would have when I was a younger man. You know, you really have to, when you're at peace with yourself, you see things a lot clearer.
Away from AJ, I just want to get your thoughts on one of your old charges, Derek Chisora. We saw him fall short in his rematch with Josie Parker last year. A tough fight, I imagine, for you to have watched. Just lost you briefly, Don.
I should be back. Somebody's trying to call me. 1 second.
No problem.
We're back. We're back.
Well, we are indeed picking that one back up as we talk about Derek Chisora there. Fell short with Joseph Parker. I imagine, like I say, it was a tough fight for you to have watched. Since then, Eddie Hearn said he wouldn't mind seeing Derek versus Deontay Wilder. Now, it's had a bit of a mixed reaction. You know, a lot of people are saying they wouldn't want to see that because Derek's had a lot of tough and grueling fights throughout his career, and nobody can deny the power that Deontay Wilder has and how tough a fight it could be for Derek. But what's your take, your thoughts on a potential fight between Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora?
Well, first and foremost, I know Derek Chisora better than Derek Chisora knows Derek Chisora. Yeah. Okay. So going to what Eddie has alluded to, yeah, people might think Eddie's out of his mind, or I've looked at it, I've heard it. I didn't actually watch the fight, and I haven't seen the fight. Okay. I haven't seen the fight. So basically, based on what everybody said to me so far, the reports have been coming. Derek fought a tough fight. He went down 3 times apparently, and that's unlike Derek, because the only time Derek has ever touched canvas in the past is only 2 people have managed to put him on the canvas and he stayed down, which is Dylan White and David Hay. He's never touched canvas in front of me when I was training him during sparring. Never ever touched canvas. And so for him to go down 3 times in one fight against a guy who's not really known as a puncher, yeah, Joseph Parker is not known for his punching power. He's an accumulative combination fighter, Joseph Parker. So I was a bit worried when I heard that he'd gone down 3 times from the same shot, uppercuts. So fast forward, apparently he put a brilliant effort in as well. That's the reports I've been getting from people. I will watch it eventually in my own time. Going back to what Eddie has alluded to, that there's a potential he wouldn't mind or wouldn't hesitate, should I say, to put Derek in with Deontay Wilder. And if the fight goes past 4 rounds, he fancies Derek to have to win the fight. And you know what? I have to agree with Eddie. People might think, hang on a sec, what are you talking about? Deontay Wilder is one of the hardest, if not the hardest hitting heavyweight on the planet in the heavyweight history. Yeah, but the thing is with Derek, if Derek can rediscover himself, because from what I've seen through when I haven't been working with him, we've also lost fights. We've lost major fights when I've been working with him. But what I've noticed, because I'm the one who designed the style of boxing that Derek Chisora does. I'm the mechanic, if I can use that phrase, that put that together, the style. So I understand it better than anyone he would have worked with, not because I'm a better coach than them. All it is like I said, I'm the designer of that. I formulated the style he does. And I've recognized that they haven't been paying a lot of attention to the things that actually got Derek Chisora, the results that he got, and all the dangerous people he had fought in the past, why he was able to survive those fights without being knocked out, namely Vitaly Klitschko, who everybody said to us going into that fight, we were going to last just 2 rounds, we're going to get knocked out. We disagreed, and it was not something to be, we went there to win to Germany. We did the 12th round. We actually won. Derek was awarded 4 rounds, and nobody up to that point wins rounds against Klitschko, because he too was known for his punching power. He didn't put any dent in us in 12 rounds. So what I'm trying to get to is that if Derek Chisora is able to go back and regroup and perhaps do the defensive drills that he used to have, then I do fancy him. I do fancy him against Wilder, because Wilder, let's not forget what Fury has done to him in the last 2 fights. Yeah, is he going to be the same guy again? He will never lose the punching power, of course not. Yeah, but mentally, that bubble has been burst by Mr. Fury. Okay, that invincibility that Wilder otherwise, he's a human being, right? So the next person, not just Derek Chisora, the next person that steps into that ring with Deontay Wilder has got a very, very good chance, because you don't know mentally how he has dealt or coped or dealing with the beatings it took of Fury, especially in the second fight. The third fight was obviously one of the best fights I've witnessed between 2 heavyweights. Yeah, they both put each other down. Okay, and you have to remarkable for Deontay Wilder, because I didn't believe that after the second fight, the mauling that he received, he would be in a position to deliver the type of fight he gave to Fury. So that's remarkable. I have to salute him and his trainer, Malik Scott. Coming back to Derek, Derek Chisora only goes in for big fights. He's only up for big fights. He's not, especially at this point of his career, he doesn't need any tune-up fights. He doesn't need to fight, all these young lions, like, i.e. people like Daniel Dubois. I'd rather put Derek Chisora in with Deontay Wilder than put him with Daniel Dubois. How about that? Think of the logic.
Don, just moving away from Derek, just get your thoughts on 2 other fights which are coming up in the UK schedule in February. Firstly, Amir Khan and Kell Brook. It may not have happened when people wanted, but we will finally get it on February 19th. What are your thoughts now? We're only about 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away.
Yeah, that's a fight. I'm gonna regurgitate what everybody says is that fight's gone sell by date, but nevertheless, it's still an intriguing fight. It's still a fight that people might moan and that they will tune in to watch it, right? I, for one, definitely will be tuning in to watch the fight. It's a very good fight. It's a British a grudge match. Those two should have met 5-6 years ago. It didn't happen, but it's happening. And I'm glad it's happening, because, otherwise, forever, the question would be, who would have won if Kell Brook had fought Khan, or Khan had fought Kell Brook? So that question will be answered in 5 weeks' time, like you said. Who do I think will win that fight? I love Amir Khan, what he's done, what he's achieved in the sport, what he's done. Again, he could also liken that what I said earlier on about Anthony Joshua, what Amir Khan did for boxing in this country, namely all the kids that took up boxing because of Amir Khan. So what he's achieved again is like unthinkable, Okay, so but I'm afraid Kell Brooks is just a tough, mentally tough, physically tough, and I fancy him to get the job done. Again, Khan will be probably boxing his head off, and Kell, when he lands, Kell Brook is a special, that's his nickname. I don't know if it still is a special one, Special K. He is very, very special. And I was fortunate to witness him sparring prior to him having the Crawford fight. Yeah, that told me everything I needed to know. Yeah, he still has it. He still has it in abundance.
Dan, I've got to ask, the fight's been made at 149, and then the next day, neither fighter can weigh more than 163.5. A lot of people see Cal as somebody who struggles to get down to 147. And it's only an extra £2, but how detrimental do you think the weight clauses will be for Cal?
Big factor. It's a big factor in favor of Cal.
Oh, big
massive factor
in favor of Cal?
No, of Kell Brooks.
So you think the weight clauses of 149 will be in favour of Cal, but still, just in terms of, like, people say struggles to get to 147, it's only an extra £2 to work with.
Yeah.
It will be a detriment for him, and it'll be struggle for him to make weight regardless, even if it is to extra 2 pounds.
No, like I said, the weight favors Kell Brook. Yeah, Kell is a very heavy-handed guy, and obviously, as long as he doesn't overdo it by overloading on the allowed, what he said, they're not allowed to weigh more than
163.5.
Yeah, you know, within reason, as long as you don't overload, which might work against you, slow you down. But I think they're experienced enough to be able to know the right way to be coming in at to be not affect his speed, his performance.
And then just away from that one, Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams, that's been targeted for February 5th. Your thoughts?
Again, not because I'm judging it from a biased point of view. I'm a fan of Chris Eubank Jr.'s boxing style. I did something not so long ago. Nothing changes. I like his whole aura approach. The kid can fight, and Mr. Williams is tough. I know that. He's boxed at a very, very high level. I know that. But you're looking at a special fighter here. Especially, he's at the, in my opinion, prime of his career, Chris Eubank Jr. Yeah, I only see one outcome there. But this is boxing. You never know, but I only see one outcome.
When you see one outcome, I know you have there's suggestion you favour Chris Eubank Jr. Would that be via a stoppage or points?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, Don, we'll leave it there now, and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. It's a pleasure to catch up with you and talk boxing. It's good to see you in good spirits as well. I appreciate
always, my man.
Thank you.
You can't get this guy down, man. My spirits is like I said, the way as one gets older, I see the world clearer than ever done in the past, you know. I'm at peace. Once you're at peace with yourself, then you can have peace with other people. But if you're not at peace with yourself, you can have peace with anybody. This is actually a message going out to everybody, yeah? Peace, love, happiness. Be happy.
Don, that is brilliantly put there, and we will end it. Like I say, I appreciate your time. Have a good day and have a good weekend. Thank you.
And yourself. Take care.